Alright, welcome back to another video. Like, subscribe, and comment, man. This is on my vlog channel. I just wanted to kind of do a video for you guys today. I'm just trying to be consistent on there, so I just felt like, why not post about the new career that I'm about to jump in. You guys have been following me from, a while, from, jumping around different YouTube channels with my stuff. So I just wanted to be able to jump in, talk to you guys, and, just let you know what's been going on in my life. And, I'm becoming a life insurance agent. It took me about 6 times to do the test. It took me a while to actually start learning some information. Been going up and down from solar, staying in solar. Been doing solar since 2020. And I made a lot of money. I made a significant amount of money. I was excited for it. But, as time goes, things always start to dip down in the amount of love that you have and passion for it, especially when you're sitting there knocking doors. And then, you get beat up over a course amount of time. You can only go so far. So in my experience, I was like, hey, with the door knocking, I always would drive to my area, charge my car, talk to a couple people, take forever, find a sign up, then they cancel, but it was a lot of money, right? $10,000 extra, just from closing a deal. And if you do 2 deals in a month, that's more money than anyone even makes, regularly and a 9 to 5. You can get 2 deals at $10,000, it's $20,000 a month. Right? But the only thing about solar was it took about 2 months to even get that check, and it's not consistent, it's not scalable in the sense of for everybody to scale. There's some select people that are going haywire still. There's some select people that are going to the roof with solar still, and it's not for everybody for a long term. And individuals are selected. I don't know how they select them, but in the sense of like some people are still crushing it big body. And I've done it. The best quarter I had was 15 in a solar install quarter. So, it was at over $100,000 plus in 15 installs. So it was pretty fun, averaging them. They were averaging $10,000 a deal. Some were 15,000, some were 12, some were 8, some were 7, some were 5. Just depending on what was going on with the project. But not throw shade at the solar industry. Definitely made me, make me a lot of money. Everything that I have, this chair that I'm sitting in is from solar money. This crib that I'm in right now is from solar money. So, I just wanted to be able to just shift the gears a little bit from driving around, being in a physical area, having to sit at a physical homeowner's desk and, do all these things. I just felt like, as I'm getting, a little bit more wiser, mature, and older, I just want to be able to change my lifestyle, right? It's all about the lifestyle. It's all about what you want to do for yourself, right? So I've took that amongst consideration, and I had one of my friends call me before about insurance, and it took me 6 times, like I mentioned before, to get my insurance license. Finally passed it. Dipped my toe in the industry. First I dipped my toe in FFL, and the agency I was with, they didn't have good training. They just gave me a script, and it was like, go buy leads, and the leads were trash. And I was doing dialing days that were like, $350 to $400 a day, and only getting about 5 to 6 people actually answer the call, but then say I got it taken care of. So it was a little rough patch. I didn't make any policies during that time, and that time was just the learning phase, and everything happens for a reason because of how I made sales in that agency. The new agency I'm with, I'll have to get release forms and all this type of stuff. So I'm glad everything happened sequentially to time up to where it needs to be. It didn't work with the FFL because of the the structure of that agency wasn't pretty prominent of what I needed. So with that being said, I had to go back to solar. I had to sell some deals. I only sold about 2, but I signed, this is what I'm talking about. I signed about 8 to 10 deals. Only 1 is going through. And I only had 2 installs since the winter. So it's like it's not scalable. It's like a 9 to 5 being an entrepreneur, in the sense of, you get a $10,000 deal, and then like your bills start racking up. So every deal that I had went to my bills, and I haven't been able to be profitable since. So I'm just maintaining. So now I'm in the insurance industry. I got my license. I'm with the best company. I can't say the company. We're that exclusive, but everything been cool. We got the training that we need. We got the states that we need. And one of my friends is going haywire right now. He's going absolutely off in that company. So the leads are pretty, well rounded, and the leads definitely have a good response rate, which is very important. You don't want to just keep dialing and having days of just dialing rather than, the job is talking and writing policies. If you're just dialing, that's not the job. The job is the dial and then to get closed policies. So I'm excited for this. And why I became a life insurance agent was typically because the life shift changed that I was saying. I want to be able to travel, being a life insurance agent, all you need is just a Wi-Fi and a tablet. And you can just go ahead and travel the world, right? Instead of with the solar, I had to be at a designated area. I had to, knock on a certain amount of doors. I had to drive, I had to park, I had to, all these other things. So now I could just laptop, press the button, the CRM starts dialing the leads, pick up, use my voice, close the policies. $1,000 policies, you can do $2,000 a day, work 6 days out of the week. That's $12,000. If you do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, it's $12,000 a week that you can make from closing 2 policies a day. So I can make a solar install in a week and consistently, because remember with the solar, you could do a $10,000 deal, and then you never know when the next deal is coming. Even if you're knocking and doing everything you need to, it's just not predictable. But all you got to do is sit at the desk to dial, do 2 policies a day at $1,000. That's $2,000 days, and then you just keep writing. You can have consistent money in insurance, and don't forget about the back ends. Every 9 months, you get back ends of the rest of the policies that you write. It's just amazing. It's absolutely crazy. And anyone that's coming out of high school right now, these are the 2 industries you should dive into. Solar, especially if you come out of high school. I recommend, if you have all that energy and you want to go out there and knock and you want to talk to people and interact, do solar. Just go out there. You'll make a lot of money as a teenager. But also, same thing with insurance. If you don't want to be knocking on doors and being to a place and, having to knock and drive around and, X, Y, and Z outside, then do the insurance. And this is why I'm doing this video. Hopefully I can inspire somebody out there through these 2 industries. Neither of them are bad. Both have their cons, both have their pros. And either way, it don't matter how you make your money. It just go get your money, right? What the life insurance agents actually does, we educate families about coverage options. We help clients protect loved ones, find affordable plans, assist with applications and underwriting. That's pretty much it. It's really that simple. You just fill out an application for an individual that wants a life insurance policy, that wants to make sure their family is covered when they passed away. Some, leave extra money away, and some just make sure that their burial expenses or cremation is actually, taken care of. What I wish I knew before starting, it's a people business, not a sales business. Active listening is more important than talking. Rejection is normal. Consistency beats talent. So that's what in the insurance agency, insurance world, it should be, right? I'm learning that I have to be more of a listener rather than a talker. In insurance is more about how can I help them get what they need rather than me actually selling them what they think they need, right? Because they're going to give me all the information. They're going to give me everything that I need. We got our script. We have everything that we're doing. We're asking them, if such and such can't pay for this, how are they going to be able to pay for it? And making them, pretty much allowing them to be able to understand that they need a policy in place to be able to help themselves out. So, so some new skills that every agent needs, right? Active listening, asking good questions, building trust, following up, time management. And that's all that came and I've learned through the solar. So both industries go hand to hand. If you do solar first and then you come to the life insurance, you're going to crush it, because in solar, you're interacting with real-time people, like in front of their face, like the 3D is in front of you. But with insurance, you're on the phone and you're talking. So if you master the upfront, knocking on doors, talking to people, closing, sitting at strangers' tables, closing 25-year contracts with them, to opposed to a whole life contract, which is the life insurance, but they're paying into it because they actually need it, right? So it's like a whole switch. It's the same but different, right? From tables and doors to computer to clicking buttons and closing the policy. So each and one of them have their own pros and cons, like I said before. So common misconceptions: life insurance agents are pushy. Only old people need life insurance. Life insurance is too expensive. Explain why these aren't always true, right? So life insurance agent, we are pushy, especially the agency that I work with. We definitely are the top tier. I believe it. And everything that our upline has been teaching us is literally 10 times better than what most agencies actually teach. And it's very important that you have a selfless act in insurance, because when it comes to callbacks, you don't want any type of callbacks, meaning like the person doesn't go through with the policy or continue to pay their policy. So this always has to be a selfless act, an empathy act, and most importantly, it has to be you serving others rather than you serving yourself, in the sense of just trying to get a sale real quick, right? So that's what I would say. Life insurance isn't too expensive. I mean, most people spend $20, $50 a day. Some people spend $80 a day. We talking about $80 a month, right, for your policy. We're not talking about $80 a day. Some people get a coffee, that's about $15, $8. They go get groceries, they go get lunch. Everyone's averaging about a $40 to $50 a day normally. So you telling me you can't put $100 or $80 aside a month for you to cover yourself if, God forbid, something was to happen to anybody? So, it's very interesting about those things, but that's why we got to have them explain to us why they need it rather than us telling them why they need it, because we know it's a good product. We know that it works. We know that it takes care of things, but they got to sell themselves on it, and we just, fill the application out on behalf of them by talking to them, which is pretty neat. So what a typical day looks like: so making calls, following up with leads, completing applications, learning products, talking with clients is literally what the day-to-day is in insurance. The day-to-day with a solar is waking up, charging my car, having to be in the area by like 3, knocking about 30 to 40 doors, talking about to 5 to 10 people full pitch, asking for a bill. You see, those things in the solar industry is not guaranteed. You can go out in the neighborhood. You can literally go out in the neighborhood and it looks like it's juicy, and you knock and no one answers the door. So how can you go from do 30 to 40 a day when no one's answering the door? It's crazy. I've been doing it for about 5 years in the solar industry. And it's really crazy how sometimes you can go out there and no one answers the door. And it's really scary because it's like someone's controlling behind the scene of like who's answering the door to you, because every door is a check. If you get the right door, you can get $10,000, $15,000. But if you don't get the right door, you got to keep going and try to find that door. It's crazy. It's monotonous, and it fucks with your mental sometimes based off of, your cash value doing it, right? If you have no money coming in the solar industry, I wouldn't recommend you doing it, all right? Because your bill's going to pile up. There's going to be shit that's going to be frustrating. You're going to sign people up thinking they're going to go solar. Then they're going to cancel. That's going to be money that you wish that you needed. And it's just going to keep you in a cycle of always chasing. And the universe don't want you to chase. It wants you to attract. So my shift and my pole shift that I'm doing is I'm going to the insurance, because now it's a lead-based insurance job, right? We pay the money for the leads, and people literally inquire, and we just call them. Now you can do that with the solar too, but it's not scalable, because all these solar agencies that talk about they can get you solar leads X, Y, and Z, they make you pay about $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 up front, and they say it's for the marketing, but they don't use it. They use shit leads, and it just, you never now have anything. I came across it already, right? The last solar batch that I tried to get 9 appointments for $2,000. The guy gave me 2 appointments, and all of them were bad credits. So it's like, and then they ain't even recredit me. They still owe me some. So it's just like all these agencies out there is for solars. No bueno, dog. With insurance, you get a good agency that has great leads, a great system, a great process, great training. the training is the most important thing I would say that you need in insurance, because it's new, right? If you don't have any training, how the hell are you supposed to become the best version of yourself? You need training. Everybody that became elite had some type of training in form of shape, from a mentor or learning information themselves. You need training. There's nothing you can just jump into being the best at without any type of training. So that's the cool thing about it. With my agencies, we have a lot of training. So I don't know, this is a 15-minute video. I just wanted to kind of give you some pros and cons, and why I feel like I'm switching my industry. And it's a lifestyle. I want to travel. I want to be able to make money wherever I'm at. I want to get residuals. I want to be able to work for something that pushes me forwards and allows me to be able to grow and leave a legacy for my family. Most importantly, actually have something that's worth working towards. Because the solar, man, I've done over 150 plus deals. I'm not getting any residuals from any of those solar deals. Imagine every solar client that I signed up renews, not even renews their agreement, but continues to pay their solar power bill. I get a kickback from that. You don't get any kickbacks. And we get these companies clients for 25 years, and they're collecting a sense of money from, the homeowners every year or whatever it is. But it's like, you sign them up, $15,000, that's it. With insurance, you sign them up, you get the first 9 months up front, and then you get the let's say it's 12 months, 10, 11, 12, you get the other months in the next nine months, sorry. But it's like, that's what it is, man. It's literally something you're working for rather than just working. So I just felt like I wanted to jump on this podcast. I mean, not a podcast. This is, I'm just talking on my vlog channel, and I have it done now. So yeah.